and he died on it twice, costing him just over a minute of potential time save. But thanks to his clean execution of the level itself, he still saved time on the split. The run was good so far, but it was when going into barrels out of bond that Hyrule would really start to live up to his name.
Oh ho ho! Yes! Oh! Oh, he saved 8 seconds.
Hyrule had just golded on 3 splits in a row, doing them faster than he had ever before, and his lead only grew bigger. But what awaited him was the gathering of the clouds, which was still as hard as ever and put an end to many good runs. And Hyrule did struggle with the block puzzle statue skip. However, this was to be expected given the difficulty of the trick, and he only ended up losing about 12 seconds over his record. That put Hyrule into the Clouds Burst, the final level and the one that had been gatekeeping him from breaking the 1 hour mark 2 times before. But this time, he had almost 3 minutes to work with, putting him on track to potentially get a high 56-minute time. And things were going pretty well. Hyrule didn't even seem nervous as he was constantly talking about the game's mechanics. Or maybe that was his way to try to calm himself down. But through what happened next, Hyrule couldn't stay calm.
Oh my god, are you serious? That is so enraging. Are you serious? No! No! I'm joking. I'm joking! I thought I was gonna die.
You might not have been able to tell from the reaction, but Hyrule had done it. He had broken the 1 hour mark and finished a run in 58 minutes and 11 seconds. It was an amazing run with a bitter end. If you had just told someone the new world record, they would have been impressed. But to those who witnessed the run, it was clear that Hyrule was far from done, and that he could still do better. But Hyrule wasn't alone, because Ace-Boon was far from done too. While Ace-Boon wasn't doing runs of the game anymore, he wasn't sitting still. The thing about Ace-Boon was that nobody in the community ever really got in touch with him. Ace-Boon didn't participate in any group chats and would very rarely talk in any of the runner's stream chats. So everyone in the community eagerly anticipated the days that Ace-Boon would post his new findings, and Ace-Boon did not disappoint. On December 11th, 2013, a new skip appeared in everyone's subscription feeds. It was Ace-Boon, and he had broken the unbreakable level, Barrels Out of Bond. Ace-Boon found out that you could clipboard off of the vines in the basement area by climbing them a certain way. He then figured out that by setting his safe position where the dwarves were imprisoned, he could warp back from the basement, then walk over some invisible geometry to get to the end of the basement much quicker. This completely skipped some annoying jumps and an RNG heavy fight, not only saving time, but making the run much more comfortable. So with that new discovery, it didn't take long until Hyrule did more runs. Just a day after the new Barrels Out of Bond basement skip, Hyrule smashed his time, all the way from 58.11 down to 52.31. Even in the Clouds Burst, Hyrule was able to clean up all the mistakes that had bugged him before, and he performed the final slow boost and reached the final barrel first try. It seemed unlikely that anyone could dethrone Hyrule, and this time of 52.31 would arguably be the best execution of a single route that the game would see for a while, because within the next month, the speedrun would change drastically. Just a day after the 52.31, Ace-Boon uploaded a new Clouds Burst route with an earlier out of bounds for both the beginning and ending sections, both more difficult to perform, but undoubtedly a lot faster, by upwards of 3 minutes. But that was only the start of it, because no matter the optimizations and skips, there was still something plaguing the Hobbit speedruns. Occasionally, when long jumping, runners would notice their momentum completely stopping mid-jump, resulting in a much shorter long jump. This was a phenomenon the community called long jump glitch. In a lot of places, this wouldn't matter much, but for some of the harder tricks, you needed the full length of a long jump to make it, and in many cases, getting a long jump glitch there would mean death, and ultimately a run reset. This was something runners just had to deal with, something unavoidable, seemingly random, and too frequent to ignore. But when practicing, Iroh noticed something. He long jumped around in Trollhole and noticed more of the level was being rendered in at the exact moment he did his long jump and got the long jump glitch. The cause was lag. That was the theory Iroh came to. So Iroh had an idea. He would try turning his camera in different ways on long jumps, with the goal of keeping as little of the level in view as possible, and it would lag less. And it turned out to be effective. This huge issue that runners just had to deal with so far could now be worked around by cleverly moving the camera. It was still hard to fully prevent long jump glitch from happening, but at least with the right camera strategies, there was a very good chance of avoiding it. Although there were some runners that were skeptical of Iroh's theory about long jump glitch, Iroh would soon prove it the best way he knew how. On December 28th, 2013, Iroh had once again beaten the world record, this time with a 50-minute and 35-second time. By incorporating his method of avoiding long jump glitch, he got runs started much more consistently, and finally managed to reach the cloud's burst, where he was able to perform the new route discovered by Ace Boone. This was a great run, yet Iroh didn't consider it as good as his past time. A sub 50 time was looking very doable. But Iroh had been slowly burning out of the game. The Hobbit had a lot of difficult tricks, especially in the beginning. It would still take many attempts to get runs going, and this was getting to him. But worst of all was the Flies and Spiders boss fight. Iroh had been really vocal about his dislike of this boss fight already, and the more he tried to optimize his time, the harder the boss fight became. So Iroh planned to take a step back from the Hobbit. But one day, the community spotted something game-changing in their subscription feeds. It was a Flies and Spiders boss skip, of course, uploaded by Ace Boone. This was one of, if not the most remarkable discovery in the Hobbit speedrunning history, and it had just quietly appeared, completely unannounced. Skipping the spider boss was unthinkable. The game would only end the level after beating all of the bosses and waiting. Yet Ace Boone had done it. The spider boss was no more. But how? Ace Boone had gone out of bounds right before entering the big tree with the spider boss. He then climbed all the way behind the big tree's entrance and jumped down. A cutscene played, Bilbo fell, and the end of level shop screen just showed up. It was another alternate end trigger, one that didn't require the spider boss to be beaten. Just like Roast Martin and Troll had them, it turned out that Flies and Spiders had one too, but it was in a ridiculous out-of-bounds location, one where nobody had even thought of checking. Nobody other than Ace Boone. The new Flies and Spiders boss skip put Iroh's plans to step back from the game on hold. There was no way he was going to leave that free time save laying there. So on January 25th, 2014, Iroh once again got back to work. He had actually been working on his movement all throughout the game, and it showed as he was quickly gaining a lead early on. The run was looking very solid into Flies and Spiders, and after doing the new spider boss skip, Iroh was almost 5 minutes ahead of his record. But unfortunately, he would struggle with the warm welcome save jump, losing 2 potential minutes. But the rest of the run actually went really well, despite Iroh having some final struggles in the Cloud's Burst. The new world record was 47 minutes and 19 seconds. Yet, it was far from the best Iroh could do, but Iroh took relief in the thought that this record wouldn't easily be broken for another little while. So this run stayed the world record. Despite its flaws, it stayed the record longer than any before it. But the speedrun had been evolving so quickly that the long time this record stayed for was actually only just under 3 months. In those 3 months, Hyrule had regained his motivation to speedrun, and within the following month, he ascended.
There we go. I'm up there. And that's a new gold split. Nice. Dang, I love that skill. A little bit slow, but here is the ending trigger. 44-45. Finally. Ah, I made it. Good. Wow, gold. Dang, so much for my near perfect splits. Yeah. Dude, did I stand still there for too long? Fuck. Dang, that's bad. I'm mad. Oh, that was pretty fast. Oh, gold, really? Okay, I still made it. Here's a difficult jump that can kill the run. And we're fine. Okay.